Assalamu alaikum, folks. What a fascinating question. Recently, I've been researching this extensively, as best as I possibly can. And I've been sharing that for some while with people around me and my Discord group. I find myself where it is undeniable that UFOs are real, contact has been made, and vessels, equipment, material have been retrieved and are in the possession of certain governments, especially the US government. So, some words on why I think so, and also what is the Islamic perspective on this. So, I previously was very dismissive of this topic. I just thought this was mass hysteria, just, sci-fi propaganda, movies and novels and stories influencing and the minds of people. And where is all this evidence then, if this was real? What I found when I started to go down this rabbit hole of researching this is actually there is a lot of evidence, a lot. And there have been incredible sustained efforts to make it appear to be ridiculed. And I would really advise anybody that's curious about this topic with some suspended judgment just to explore. Watch some documentaries, especially I would advise some by Dr. Stephen Greer, amongst other people, and just, suspend judgment for a moment and explore it. Interest in UFOs has rapidly increased, especially in the last maybe 5, 6 years. And we're seeing a turn in government policies. So the governments now, especially the US government, which seems to have led on this matter, has now taken somewhat of a subtle disclosure steps or approach, where since 2017 they've started to release some videos and have said that, look, we don't know what this is. And where some of the Air Force is pursuing these now what they call UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon. And I feel part of this as well is this kind of strategy that the governments have adopted. So in part to change the name so people start embracing it more. Now this does lead to a ton of questions. Why would they be so secret about these things? Why would they hide them? Why not share them? And so on. But the evidence is, it's just, it's absolutely crushing when you start exploring all what is out there. You can begin with the Roswell incident, and you can take a look at Brazil's Virginia encounter. You can look at so many encounters. I mean, once you start exploring, you realize that, the like you take the Roswell incident, and the US government themselves, the military, announced this, and the Washington Post, I believe, it was released as news and then withdrawn within, I think, 24 hours or something. So it was the only time, or one of the only times, the US government publicly said there's been a UFO incident, and we've actually retrieved. And then they've gone back on it. No, it's some kind of weather balloon or something. And that's in 1947. So once you start looking at these things, you start to realize, there is a lot more to it. The fact that within weeks of this Roswell encounter, the US Air Force becomes a separate entity to the military. It is sworn to secrecy. The CIA is created, the NSA is created, all, more or less simultaneously, looking at it within weeks of this encounter. And then all these other incidents, the secrecy. But what I want to say is, I previously, if I told me this a few years ago, I know how I would reply to this. I would say, well, Wiz, no, it doesn't make any sense. It's just mass hysteria. How come everybody hasn't come out with it? How come? So for now, I'll just say one simple statement, and that is, if you want to know how important something is, just see who attaches the most importance and significance to that topic. And you'll find that it actually is the government military kind of complexes. They have been attaching the most importance to this topic. And recently, in the last 5 years, releasing now some footage and still refusing to disclose all the data. More importantly, what does Islam have to say about this? And I understand this to be the jinn. That maybe how we had characterized and understood the jinn from our sources, it's based on our kind of collective consciousness of the age, because the Quran doesn't really go into much description when explaining what the or who the jinn are. The jinn, generally speaking, in Islam, it means that which is kept away from our, or is not in our visual field. Okay, now keeping in mind that over 99% of what is out there, we don't have access to it. Visual light is only a tiny, tiny fraction of the, electromagnetic kind of the light waves. So jinn is referred to the unseen, that which is hidden or away from the visual field. Now, this could be for a number of reasons, and sometimes in Islam we do get other phenomenon referred to as jinn as well, like you might get snakes or so on, certain dangerous entities. But generally, jinn, let's say with a capital J, what we understand from the Quran, these beings, these kind of entities, I feel that this is extraterrestrial kind of life force out there, and that they for well before humans, maybe even before the creation of Earth, have existed in, whether it will be very far distant galaxies, or maybe in multiverses, in different dimensions of universes, or maybe within this universe but in ever so far distant galaxies. And humans, now one thing may be that, well, the contact, and we do have a whole plethora of rich reporting of contacts made, and people have spoken of the jinn, and it doesn't mean once again, most reportings of UFOs or other things will be explicable. We can explain them, but there is a fraction that are genuine. So I'll make a few more videos going through some of the evidences. Now, what I've done then is taken a UFO friendly lens to our tradition, to the Quran, and reread some of these verses, which now it's like, wow, okay, I see, this is shedding a whole new light on these verses, looking at it with a UFO friendly lens. I'll leave you guys with that, for now, Allah bless you all, and I look forward to sharing that with you. Salaam alaikum wa khuda hafiz.